The 2025 motocross season just got a little more interesting. In a world where most dirt bikes are racing toward the future with electronics, lightweight frames, and app-based tuning, Suzuki has once again chosen a different path, one that's bold, deliberate, and yes, controversial. This is the 2025 Suzuki RM-Z450, a bike that doesn't pretend to be something it's not. No electric start. No traction control. No map switching. But it does have something that's becoming increasingly rare in today's performance-driven motocross market: simplicity, and a price tag to match. In this deep dive from Acer Showroom, we're going to walk through everything you need to know about the RM-Z450's 2025 edition. From specs to performance, from what's changed to what hasn't, and why some riders still swear by the RM-Z even in the face of more modern machines. Let's throttle into it. At first glance, you might not notice any major differences at first. And that's because Suzuki has decided to stick to a design and engineering philosophy that hasn't changed much in over half a decade. The RM-Z450 still runs the same proven 449 cubic centimeters, DOHC, liquid-cooled, single-cylinder four-stroke engine that's been its heart since 2018. This powerplant is known for one thing: strong, immediate low-end and mid-range power delivery. The throttle response is aggressive and instantaneous. For riders who like explosive torque off the bottom and who ride tight, technical tracks, the RM-Z450 still delivers in ways that smoother, over-refined engines don't. But if you're expecting top-end scream and over-rev that goes on for days, you might feel the limits of this engine sooner than you'd like. It's not underpowered, but it definitely doesn't match the ceiling of today's Austrian or Japanese competition. The chassis and suspension. The RM-Z450 has always had one of the best handling frames in motocross. That legacy continues in 2025 with a twin-spar aluminum frame, stiff enough to hold its line but predictable enough to inspire confidence through corners. Handling is where this bike still shines. It's one of the few bikes that feels like it actually wants to turn. Tight switchbacks, fast bowl corners, or rutted berms, this bike carves with ease. Suzuki continues to use KYB suspension front and rear. The forks are coil spring with separate function, and the shock features high and low-speed compression adjustability. For 2025, Suzuki claims slight internal valving changes for better mid-stroke performance, especially useful for heavier riders or those pushing race pace. It's not game-changing, but it's a small step in the right direction. Braking, clutch, and ergonomics. The RM-Z450 uses Nissan brakes, and they're decent, plenty of stopping power and good modulation. They're not quite at Brembo level, but they get the job done for weekend racers and serious amateurs alike. The clutch, however, remains cable actuated, which is starting to feel dated compared to the hydraulic setups now common across the board. The engagement is predictable but slightly stiff, and under intense heat, it tends to fade quicker than its hydraulic rivals. As for rider ergonomics, Suzuki has kept things familiar: low seat, slim midsection, neutral bar position. It's not as roomy as a KTM, but it doesn't feel cramped either. Everything is where it should be, and riders coming from older bikes will feel at home immediately. The elephant in the room: no electric start. Let's talk about what's not here. Still no electric start. In 2025, this is almost unheard of. Every major 450 competitor, Yamaha, Honda, KTM, Kawasaki, comes standard with electric starting. The RM-Z450? Kickstart only. Now, for old-school purists, that's not a deal-breaker. But for many riders, the convenience of electric start has become non-negotiable. Especially when you're mid-moto, exhausted, and stalled at the base of a hill. It's a tough pill to swallow, and the main reason many pass on this bike before even throwing a leg over it. The price advantage. Now here's where Suzuki flips the script. At a time when flagship 450s are pushing well past the $10,000 mark, the 2025 RM-Z450 comes in at just $9,199. That's right, nearly $1,000 less than a new KTM 450 SXF or Honda CRF 450R. For riders on a budget, or those upgrading from a 250, or even weekend warriors who don't care about bells and whistles, that savings is hard to ignore. Plus, this isn't a fragile, high-maintenance machine. The RM-Z450 is incredibly reliable. Proven parts. Simple systems. Less that can go wrong. That kind of simplicity has its perks, especially for riders who do their own wrenching. Who is this bike for? The 2025 Suzuki RM-Z450 is not for everyone. It's not for the high-tech fanatic who wants launch control, ride modes, GPS telemetry, and wireless ECU tuning. It's not for someone who expects innovation year after year. But it is for riders who want a simple, affordable 450 with strong torque. A well-balanced chassis that corners better than almost anything else. A bike they can maintain without needing a software degree. And maybe most of all, a machine that feels raw, mechanical, and connected. If you're a privateer racer, a woods rider who doesn't need the flash, or a vet who values reliability over fashion, the RM-Z450 still makes sense. What's next for Suzuki? Now here's something interesting. Behind the scenes, rumors suggest Suzuki is preparing something big for 2026 or 2027. A total overhaul. New engine. Electric start. Electronic tuning. Possibly even a return to two-stroke development for off-road use. Why wait? According to leaked industry reports, Suzuki is playing the long game. Investing in a ground-up redesign rather than yearly patchwork updates. And in the meantime, the RM-Z450 soldiers on as a placeholder, a bridge between eras. That means the 2025 model may be the last of its kind. The final chapter of a simpler generation. If you've ever wanted to own a raw, race-ready machine without the digital distractions, this might be your moment. Final thoughts. The 2025 Suzuki RM-Z450 is like a stubborn old racer who refuses to retire. While everyone else is chasing the future, the RM-Z doubles down on its roots. And depending on your riding style, your budget, and your values, that might be exactly what you want. In a way, it's not that the RM-Z is behind. It's that the rest of the industry left behind this kind of motocross bike. And Suzuki? Suzuki just decided to stay right here, right where they've always been. This has been your full breakdown from Acer Showroom, your home for in-depth motocross machine reviews and real-world ride insights. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned, stay humble, and most of all, stay riding. Acer Showroom, signing off.